We are coming to you from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, obviously El Garcia, Melky Cabrera and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Evan Longoria and the 32-29 Tampa Bay Rays. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you the first of this 3-game set and the first of this 5-game road trip. 3 here, 2 in Pittsburgh, and then we'll come back home. But talking about home, we're just coming off a nice sweep of the first-place Houston Astros. But, you know, we're near the bottom of the league in home runs. But, Steve, it looks like things are starting to turn around, hopefully.
And hopefully they will, because if this team hits the ball out of the ballpark, they're going to do pretty well. They've hit 43 home runs, and that is near the bottom. However, the last 2 games at home, well, Jose Abreu is starting to heat it up. This was against Dallas Keuchel. It helped win the ball game. Then Adam LaRoche tied this game up at 1. He had his 8th home run of the year. Giovanni Soto made it 2-1 as he hit the ball out of the ballpark, and then Abreu comes back again. His 2nd home run in as many days, and that put it away. So if the Sox hit the ball out of the park, there's no doubt they're going to start winning a whole lot more games, and hopefully that happens.
Well, these guys are a surprise. There's no question about it. You know, you got Houston, which is a surprise, Minnesota, a surprise, and Tampa Bay at 32-29, they're a surprise.
I'm shocked that they're playing as well as they're playing, not because they don't have talent, but because they lost so many people. First of all, they lost Andrew Friedman, who became president of baseball ops with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He did a great job here. Then Joe Madden went to the Chicago Cubs. I don't have to tell you, 5 years in a row, he was over 500, considered one of the best managers around. 17 players on the disabled list. They've made 19 stints, and yet there they are in second place, 2 games in back of the Yankees. This is a good organization. Right now, they have everybody hurt. When they get them back, I think this team can still make a run at it, but right now they've got to show they can do it with their shock troops.
They might be the most banged-up team in all of Major League Baseball, but our starting pitching, as you know, has been dealing, and Johnny Danks looks to do the same. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Audi. Truth in engineering. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to St. Petersburg on the artificial surface, and let's take a look at how Mark Parrott is going to line up our Sox for the game tonight. Adam Eaton is going to lead it off, then Alexei Ramirez in the 2 spot. Jose Abreu has been red hot recently with Adam LaRoche the DH. Abasil Garcia, his 24th birthday tonight. Melky Cabrera in left field, Connor Gillespie at third, then it's Tyler Flowers and Carlos Sanchez rounding it out. The defense and how they'll line up behind Matt Andriese. Brendan Geyer, Mikey Maddox, Steven Souza Jr. Then it's Evan Longoria, Nick Franklin, Logan Forsythe, and Jake Elmore in the infield with Rene Rivera, the fine throwing catcher. And our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher is Matt Andriese. He's 0-1 this year. He's starting his 4th game, his 8th appearance. He was just called back. He was supposed to start tonight. That was in AAA. Well, he is starting, only it's in the major leagues due to injuries, and so they're getting ready to play baseball, although Gabe Morales, the home plate umpire, is spending a little time until they start this one. So we're ready to play baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Steve, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. And the first pitch of the ball game is taken upstairs. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. Andriese, 25-year-old right-hander. And the count 2-0.
Don't look for a whole lot. You're not going to see a big fastball. He's got stuff that's all right. He does have 2 saves, but they were of the 3-inning variety, so he doesn't have closer stuff.
There's a strike. Adam hitting at 233, 3 homers. He's driven in the 11. Sox come in hitting at 242 as a club with a 4.16 team ERA. And the count moves to 3-1.
Normally, as Drupal Cabrera plays shortstop, he's getting the night off, and Cabrera's been a very dependable shortstop. Nick Franklin, who you might remember with Seattle, was a second baseman playing short tonight.
And a full count. And here at Tropicana Field, 315 down the left field line, 322 down the right field line, 370 in the gaps, and 404 straight away center. Payoff pitch. That's a can of corn.
And the umpires for the game tonight. Gabe Morales behind the plate. Dale Scott, the crew chief, at first. Dan Iasoni is at second, and C.B. Buckner is at third.
Here is Alexei hitting at 234. A couple of homers. He's driven in 22. Corners getting fairly close.
There's probably one guy you don't want to force to make the play, and that's the man at third, Evan Longoria, who's still one of the best fielding third basemen in the league.
He is really, really fun to watch. The ball hit high and deep. Stretch. Back on the track. Right in front of State Farm, and that's out number 2. So with 2 out, let's check out our picks. Demands our director and the crew. Well, they went with Alexei. Steve's going with the birthday boy, Avi. And JJ and Jessica Shearer and I. Congratulations on their marriage. We're going to go with Melky Cabrera. Here's Abreu hitting at 283. 11 homers and 37 driven in. Takes first pitch strike.
So far, Andriese has not kept the ball down. He doesn't have a sinker, and if he keeps throwing the ball from the thigh to the belt, he will give up a couple of home runs tonight.
Back through the middle, that'll be a base hit. Logan Forsythe got a glove on it.
Would have been a pretty tough play anyway, even if Forsythe does flag it down, but it's a curveball, takes it back up the middle. And on the third base side of second, it's doubtful if he's going to make that play.
Once he got by Andres, it was a base hit all the way. So here is Adam at 246, 8 homers, 24 knocked in.
They're putting the radical shift on him with 3 on the right side.
Good hat. Foul back.
Talk with Chip Carey, who is the play-by-play voice of the Atlanta Braves. He was talking about Adam LaRoche, told me that historically he gets off to rather slow starts. He said that this is about the time of year when he starts to heat it up. He said he's a great guy in the clubhouse, and he said he is capable of hitting 15 home runs in a month when he gets it going.
Chip Carey, good man.
Good broadcaster, and he really enjoyed having Adam LaRoche over there. Said that he's just a great guy and also very good for the ball club.
Fouls it back. Usually guys who don't say very much, and Adam certainly is of that ilk.
I would say falls in that category,
Yeah.
yes.
Usually they're very good for a ball club.
Because normally when they do say something, then it means something, and people listen to him, and he's been around long enough where if he says something, you should listen to him.
The 1-2 pitch.
Andres was not supposed to be here, but an injury to rookie Andrew Bellotti, and then an injury to Jake Odorizzi, and suddenly the man who was supposed to be starting at Durham is starting here tonight.
Foul tip.
One thing we're probably not going to do a lot of tonight, and that's run on Rene Rivera. He's one of the best throwing catchers around. You haven't heard a whole lot about him. He came over from San Diego, but he has a quick release. He's very accurate, and he's got as strong an arm as there is around.
Once again, the 2-2. He gets him, and that'll retire the side. Nothing across after half inning of play. As our guys nothing, and the Rays coming to bat.
And data services in La Harpe, Illinois. So let's take a look at how Kevin Cash is going to line up his Rays for the game tonight. Brendan Guyer leading it off, and it's Butler, Longoria with Forsythe, Sousa, Elmore, Franklin, Matuk, and Rivera rounding it out. The defense and out of the lineup behind Johnny Danks left to right, Cabrera, Eaton, and Garcia in the infield. Gillespie, Ramirez, Sanchez, and Abreu. Tyler Flowers behind the plate. Our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Johnny Danks. Johnny has seen this ball club quite a bit. This is his 12th start. He's 3-5. His ERA up over 5. And right-handers have hurt him. 3.23.
Guyer. First ball, Honey. High in the right. One pitch, one out.
We've talked about Tampa Bay being 2 games in back of New York. The surprising thing about Tampa Bay is they're 15-18 here at home, 17-11 on the road, and over the last 5 years, for whatever reason, Tampa Bay has the best road record in all of baseball covering that span.
I was talking with some Tampa Bay people prior to the game, and each one of them, unsolicited, each one of them, inside the conversation we were having, said a lot, because I asked him, how in the world can you be this crippled up with this ball club and still be over 500? And each one of them said it's still a carryover from Joe Madden.
I don't doubt it for a minute. I think there's a lot of guys that were here with Joe. It was a good team then. They had a down year last year.
Come back, 2 down.
But Kevin Cash, in talking with him before the game, he said something pretty interesting. He interviewed for the Texas job. There he is on the right with Tom Foley. And he said, coming here with Tampa Bay, normally you move into a situation where it's kind of disastrous. It's off a terrible year. You don't have much talent. He said, that isn't the case here. He said, Joe left this ball club, a very talented group. He said, if we can ever get back healthy together, this team could make some noise.
I know when I was reading the paper this morning about this ball club, it was hard to believe. They started the season with 4 of their starters on the DL.
It's still pretty amazing.
And it's gotten worse since then.
Yeah.
But here is one of my favorite players to watch play this game. He plays it the way it should be. Hard, has fun doing it. And besides that, he's pretty good. Evan Longoria. High pop up. So a nice inning right here. As he makes the catch. Goes into the stands. 1, 2, 3, and after 1, no score.
Mark Parent is the skipper tonight, as Robin is at his daughter's graduation. He won't be here, but he'll be rejoining the team in Pittsburgh. So I talked with Mark before the game. I said, you know, you win 2 of 3, you'll have the best winning percentage of any manager around, and I'm not sure if it gets you in the Hall of Fame, but it'll be close.
Well, he's going to be managing a big league club. As I said, last 2 years he managed in the minor leagues before coming over as bench coach for Robin. He finished second and first.
Why do you think more catchers than any other position are major league managers?
Well, in my opinion, basically, for the most part, they're tougher.
Well, they got to be tough. There's no doubt about that.
Well, you know, the days of in-your-face managing are gone. That is beneath. No more. No more Billy Martins, no more Earl Weavers, no more guys like that. The culture of this game today is there's a little soft comebacker by Ivy. Talking with some coaches from Tampa Bay before the game, and we're talking, that was one of the things we were talking about, was the fact that it's just a different game. It's just a different culture. If you get in these, like, if you get in these guys' faces today on a regular basis, you're going to lose them in a hurry.
I know Joe Madden, that was not his style.
He was the antithesis of that. Here's Melky. Takes first pitch strike.
Melky's trying his best to heat it up, and if he is going to heat it up, it's going to be from the left side.
That is going foul. We saw a situation, I saw a situation, as probably you did as well, in the highlights of the Red Sox with their pitcher who didn't want to come out of the game and got in John Farrell's face. And after the game, Farrell was talking about he likes that because of the competitive spirit, so to speak, that it shows.
That's certainly part of it, but there was an era and not too distant past where if you got in a manager's face on the mound, he would do something to remind you that he was the boss. You were not.
There's a shot, and once again Melky comes up empty after hitting it right on the money. It's amazing. It really has been amazing.
Got to be frustrating for Melky. We know the problems from the right side, but from the left side, he squares up a lot of pitches, and he has been doing that. And this is a one-hop rocket to Nick Franklin. He makes a terrific play, and he's able to make the throw across and get him.
So here's Gillespie hitting at 248, a couple of homers. He's driven in 12. Yeah, today it's more of a sit down on the couch or lay down on the couch and let's talk about it type scenario with players. You have to be more of a psychologist. And the more money that is made by players, the less leverage a manager has.
Especially when you get in the early years of a big money multi-year contract.
Goes to the vacated shortstop spot for the base hit.
Join us for Selfie Sunday on June 21st at 10:15 a.m. The first 500 fans to purchase this special ticket offer can join us on the outfield warning track of U.S. Cellular Field and take selfies with select players. Visit whitesox.com/selfie Sunday for tickets and more information.
Here's Tyler. Takes ball one. I've seen managers on the field and in the dugout and in the clubhouse when they used to go locker to locker tell guys, you do that one more time and you're going to be in AAA tomorrow.
And a lot of them made it stick.
Oh yeah, oh for sure. And when Gardenhire and Tom Kelly were at Minnesota, they still did it, even in this current culture.
Well, you remember a guy, and again, not too long ago, Alexi Casilla. He told him they would appreciate him running a bit more to first base, and the next time he had an opportunity after a bunt, he carried his bat to first with him, and the next day he was in AAA.
That's the only way you can get to. You can't fine them. Fines don't mean anything to them, because if it's too much, the Players Association is going to have it rescinded. But the only way you can have some semblance of leverage is playing time. And then on the other side of the page, you might have to fight the general manager.
No, if the GM is in your corner and then you've got the power of the pencil, where you're not going to write a guy in if he does something that you don't care for repeatedly, that's one thing. A lot of times, both of those guys aren't on the same page. It makes it really tough.
Outfield straight up, spread out. Bit of a gap out there in right center. One of the great scouts in baseball. I was talking to him prior to the game, Tom Giordano. And we were talking about exactly that. How it's tougher today than it's ever been in every aspect of this game. Oh, look at that pick. There's a, I got it. But he does have it, and after an inning and a half, no score.
To you by Miller Lite.
And tomorrow afternoon, we'll have a great pitching matchup for you in Game 2 of this series as the Shark chases his 5th win against Ray's ace, and this guy's a good one, Chris Archer. Coverage begins at 2:30 with White Sox pregame live, presented by Lexus of Orland and Maribel. That's right here on Comcast Sports Net.
Lately, nobody's touching Chris Archer. He's been unbelievably good. He's been their version of Chris Sale.
Logan Forsythe, the cleanup hitter, the second baseman. Just tuning in, no score here in the bottom of the second. Forsythe hitting at .271, 7 homers, 26 driven in. There's the strike. But just unbelievable, the deals that are happening today. I know you've got your own version of it, and I've got my own version of it. As the high pop-up. Tyler got in good position, got out there, turned around. Catches it coming his way for out number 1.
It's probably going to be a lot more difficult during the daytime to catch those than it is during the evening, especially with storms outside. It is pretty dark. Although this roof is a whiter shade of gray.
Here's Souza, the right fielder. 12 homers, 28 knocked in.
This guy has huge power.
Big swing. 260 minor league hitter with some pop.
He came over from the Washington Nationals as part of a 3-team deal that included the Padres. Usually young guys with a whole lot of power will fall victim to that straight change a lot.
Especially strong right-handed hitters, left-handed pitching. It's remarkable how much more effective a good changeup from a left-hander is than from a right-hander. The best tip I ever heard on hitting a good left-handed changeup if you're a strong right-handed hitter was try to, when you see it, try to knock him right off the mound.
Well, he did, but it was too hot.
That's not going to.
That won't knock him off the mound?
No. What that'll do for you youngsters out there, in high school and college, what that'll do is it will make you stay. Once you recognize it's a changeup, it'll get you a little hang time if you can ingrain it in your mind. Now tear him off the mound. Tear him off the mound. They call it hang time. So here's Jake Elmore. Takes first pitch strike.
White Sox claimed him off waivers November 20th of 2013. Then he was designated for assignment February of last year. And here he finds himself.
Just off the plate. Yeah, unless you've got some sort of a technique from hitting this can of corn, from hitting a changeup from the left-hander if you're a right-handed hitter, then you're going to be out. Meanwhile, 1-2-3 inning for Johnny. We'll go to the third, no score. Chicago is giving you a chance to win tickets to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. Wow. Wow. Enter for your chance to win now at csnchicago.com/game6. And the winner will be selected Monday at noon at csnchicago.com/game6.
Now the Sox would like to see Carlos bunt a few more times. He's got pretty decent speed. And if you're going to bunt on this team, you'd certainly like to bunt to the right side and keep it away from Longoria.
There's a strike. 0-2 the count. And there is a souvenir. First of 3 here in St. Pete. First of 5 on this road trip. 3 here. Finish it off Monday and Tuesday in Pittsburgh. There's a line shot right at him.
The White Sox have dedicated Saturday, June 20th, as Father-Daughter Day. On this special day, all fathers and their daughters are invited to enjoy a day at the ballpark. There'll also be an opportunity to participate in a pregame parade. To purchase specially priced tickets, visit whitesox.com/dad.
Adam Eaton takes first pitch strike.
Surprising thing about this Tampa Bay team, with 3 of their really good starters on the DL, they're still leading the American League in ERA at 3.33 coming into action tonight. You know how good Kansas City is. Their ERA 3.36. They're second behind Tampa Bay.
Two down.
Pretty tough to have a strong ERA unless you've got a strong defense. And Tampa Bay is tied for fewest errors with Detroit. They're tied with them in fielding percentage at .987.
Well, the guys I talked to before the game said the defense has been absolutely outstanding. I mean, it's just not the few errors that they've been making. It's the plays they've been making.
They're ecstatic with Asdrubal Cabrera at shortstop, and I ask him, why do you think that's happening? He certainly didn't get any faster from his days with the Indians, where they were concerned about his range. He said for whatever reason the defensive charts have put him in position where he's pretty much in front of just about everything at short. He's played an outstanding shortstop for him.
Overall, the play at shortstop in the American League is just about as good as I've ever seen it.
Well, Asdrubal has made just 2 errors this year in 58 games, and that's pretty strong.
Well, it's just also the kind of plays that are being made. You got the kid from Detroit at least. You got the kid Escobar in Kansas City. You got our guy. I mean, you know, the plays they're making are just, to me, because I'm a defensive guy, I love to see defense. That's what wins ball games, and that's what gets you in the postseason. That ball into right field. Right at him again. Another atom ball by our guys. Meanwhile, no score. as they look to kick their way back into the playoff picture. Fire at Revolution. Coverage begins at 6 right here on CSN+. Franklin, Matuk, and Rivera.
Johnny throwing the ball pretty well through the first two. His 6-5 lifetime against his team with an ERA just over 4.
Well, the greatest thing that can happen to a ball club from a pitching standpoint, with obviously Chris Sale being the leader, is that the other starters get caught up in the top view situation. We saw that for years in Atlanta.
They had just a great rotation, and 3 of them went into the Hall of Fame.
That's part of it, a huge part of it, obviously. But the other part is that top view competition between the starters. Baltimore, last team to have 420 game winners.
That was 71. We won't see that again because you won't see a 4-man rotation anytime soon.
There's the strike. Yeah, if the manager and the ball club ever get that going for them, they got something. Most of the time winning in any sport, especially in baseball, is there is a ball and the count goes full. It takes a common bond. Regardless of what the common bond is, it takes a common bond to bring a club together to have that TWTW. And there's the first base runner.
Unfortunately, Franklin, who came in hitting 102, is not one of those guys you want to walk. Johnny didn't start out to approach it that way, but that's where he found himself.
Those common bonds come along quite often. The knack is to grab a hold and hang on to it. I've seen clubs in the past. We saw them here in this ballpark with Joe Madden. Those players had a common bond. They liked the way what he was doing. He got them out there, he let them play, didn't get in the way. And I've also seen the opposite of that. Clubs have a common bond and play well with a manager they couldn't stand and who was bad. So now the walk and the base hit by Matuk. 2 men on, nobody out.
Matuk was taken in the first round of the June draft of 2011. He gets a fastball down. It's the first Tampa hit of the ball game. Third hit overall, and now John's in some trouble.
Rene Rivera, the catcher, at 159, a couple of homers. He's driven in 10.
He's had 2 sacrifices this year, so odds are he'll probably be laying it down. Showed no signs of trying to bunt that time. Rivera's grounded into 4 double plays this year. That's tied for the team lead in that department.
Goes to first. Sacrifice. 1-4.
Good execution by Rivera as he lays it down perfectly. Gillespie came on, so there's no play at third, and Johnny has only 1 play. That's Sanchez. 2 men in scoring position for the top of the order.
Geyer hit the first pitch thrown by Johnny Danks. High pop up in the right field. Takes that ball inside.
Mark Parent has elected to keep the middle infield back. They're going to concede the run to stay out of the big inning.
there's a base hit in the hole. So that's going to score the walk. Franklin. Matuk into third. And it's 1-0.
RBI number 14 for Geyer, and he got a high changeup.
Well, if he keeps the changeup up, he's going to get beat.
And this is where it was. 79 miles an hour on the outside corner, but it was above belt high. And Geyer drives it into left field.
That's the one thing that Johnny Danks has got to get ingrained in his brain. If he throws that changeup, if he misses, he's got to miss low. That has been his MO since he has had a White Sox uniform on.
And Joey Butler played with Kevin Cash in the last year that Cash played. And he said at that point he was very impressed with his hitting, and they're still impressed with his hitting. Geyer, pretty good base stealer. Swiped 6 in his 8 attempts.
And there's a base hit. It's 2-0.
Butler did a terrific job that time because that pitch was just off the outside corner at the knees. He drives in his 15th run as Don Cooper will come out from the dugout. Watch how far out he goes and gets this one. It's a fastball down. He goes right with it. Does what you should do, dumping it over the head of Sanchez, and just like that, it's a 2-0 game.
Well, with 2 strikes, you have got to take what they give you, and that's exactly what he did. You try to create something on that pitch, and you might hit into a 6-4-3 double play.
So Don Cooper's had his say, and now they're consistently the most dangerous man in this lineup stepping up. Lagoria's biggest problem this year is he hasn't had a lot of protection behind him, and he's had to learn how to take his walks because there's a whole lot of people pitching around him.
Well, if they don't, they're crazy.
In this lineup, indeed.
Can't get that change. And that's what'll happen a lot of times when they're going around you, not giving you anything. You start expanding your strike zone, and that's when you really get yourself into trouble.
Well, James Loney has made his second trip to the disabled list, and normally he's the guy behind him.
He gives him some protection.
Yeah, don't have a whole lot of power, but he makes contact and he hits line drives.
James Loney is a tough out. He is a good hitter. He's their version of Victor Martinez. Loney is, as Longoria, of course, hitting third. The 0-2. Close. Good take by Longoria. 2 in, 2 on. 1 out here in the 3rd inning, first of this 3-game series.
Butler with 3 stolen bases. He's been caught twice.
High pop up. This will not get the job done. Sanchez will make the call, has the ball. So 2 down. That ball down and away. Here's Forsythe. He popped up to Tyler Flowers. All started with a leadoff walk to Nick Franklin, who was hitting 102.
Forsythe came over from the Padres in a multiplayer deal, which included their closer, Brad Boxberger. He came over along with a few others, but the big two, Forsythe and Boxberger. That was January of last year.
We don't know the tendencies, the trends of Kevin Cash, but Butler has decent speed at third base. You better not give him a soft toss over there. Two out, 2-1 to count. Of course, you never see that play work anymore, hardly, if ever. And by that I mean 2 out, men on first and third. Guy at first gets a pretty good lead. Acts like he might be running. Just give him a little soft toss over there. The guy at third will take off, and/or the guy at first will fake. He fake a trip. You go over there, and the guy at third will try to score. I think last time I saw that play work was 1967.
Good play if you got it in the bag, but you got to work on it.
That's why they had the little field in Miami. Baltimore for years, that's where they had spring training, and for years they were the best fundamental team in baseball. Good rip. They were the only team I've ever seen. Ever. I don't care, in the last over 50 years, who in a close ball game, man on first and second, nobody out in the bunt situation, they put you on the defense.
They had 5 different variations of what they called the rotation or the wheel play, and many times it led to a pickoff as opposed to just defending the bunt.
They picked more guys off at first base in that situation than any team I've ever seen.
Tyler looking over at Mark Parent, see if he wants Johnny Danks to use a pickoff play at first.
That pitch is off the plate. So 2 out, 3-2 the count. He gone, but they put a pair on the board, and we're into the fourth.
This handsome White Sox baseball cap presented by the Private Bank. Private Bank, we resolve for X. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/promos. I've seen those hats. They are good looking.
Abreu will lead it off. We trail it 2-0. Matt Andres out of Redlands, California. 6'3", 215 pounds.
Second time through the order, you would think they'd have better ABs.
That ball hit hard, but he's playing deep. Makes the catch, hits the wall, and another ball just centered up. We have hit some rockets off this right-hander, and they've been right at somebody. There's a good catch, though.
Tremendous play by Steven Souza Jr., and he's used to great catches. He's a man that made the catch in Jordan Zimmerman's no-hitter, the first since the Nationals moved to Washington. And he made the final out. It was a great catch. He put it away, and of course Andres is ecstatic with that.
That's foul back. Six out of the last 8 hitters have hit the ball right on the money. And we have one hit. Two down. And let's check out a couple of good announcers right there. Dwayne Stats, 18th season with the Rays. Brian Anderson. Brian was the number 3 overall pick back in the 1993 draft by the Angels. A crafty left-hander. Used to love to watch him pitch. Cunning and guile. The stats, just an outstanding, and always has been, play-by-play guy.
And Dwayne was a partner of mine for a few years with the Cubs. He came over from Houston. Got a great voice, and you're right, he is an outstanding broadcaster.
Avi hit a little soft comebacker. There's a shot. That one finds the hole. Thank you.
Happy birthday. I talked with him coming in. He's 24th today. Told David Robertson that he was getting old. He said, I always heard when you turn 24, it goes right to 30. And David, who is 30, said, not quite that quickly, but nice thought.
I remember when 30 was, for the most part, looked at as being over the hill.
We both like to recapture some of that, but unfortunately, not doable.
Here's Melky. He had a rocket right to the shortstop. Nick Franklin on one hop. In fact, I remember the day Carl Yastrzemski turned 30. He actually had tears in his eyes. That 30. You know who broke that line? Was Pete Rose. Pete was the guy who broke the age barrier. $21 to count.
Melky wasn't happy with that call by Gabe Morales, but that was a strike.
I don't think Gabe's missed a pitch yet.
No, and the pitch before actually was borderline, but Gabe's had a good night behind the plate. If Avi's thinking about stealing a base, this is probably not the guy to steal against. Jason Castro got him twice, and Rivera throws better.
There he goes. And look at this, a little chopper. So that is textbook. Runners at the corners, 2 out.
That'll take a good throwing catcher and take him out of the equation. Through the vacated left side. And Melky, who was robbed the first time, turns a little chopper into a base hit and runners at the corners. So the second time through the order, the boys have been hitting the ball pretty well.
It pretty well first time around too, but unfortunately right at somebody.
Nope, not much happened.
Here's Connor. He had a line shot single back in the second to left. Outfielder deep, especially Matuk in center.
Andres is tipping that changeup.
From what I've seen, we should be able to get this guy.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets the changeup close, he's going to get hurt on that pitch.
Nope. Not this time. Can of corn, and that'll retire the side. We get a couple of 2-out hits, can't do anything with it, and it's still 2-0 Rays.
Purchase specially priced tickets and show off your Husky pride as the Sox take on the Pirates. Northern Illinois University, your future, our network. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/NIU.
2-0 bad guys here in the bottom of the fourth. It'll be Souza, Elmore, and Franklin. Face Johnny Danks. Outfield for the most part straight up. Spread out about equidistant. And there's a little spinner for a strike. Up the middle.
Well, that one came off the end of the bat and seemed to go away from Alexei as it went right up the middle past Johnny Danks. So not hit awfully hard, just in a perfect spot.
That'll bring up Elmore, who went out to Cabrera in left field. First pitch strike.
Souza's got pretty good speed. 7 stolen bases this year, although his technique isn't the best. He's been gunned down 4 times. But he's the #1 base stealer on this team by volume.
That's into center field. One out. And we were delayed about an hour last night coming out of Chicago, and I want to thank the crew, headed up by Jackie Cruz, Carolina Stevens, Julie Seymour, Joe Bonilla. They do such a great job in taking care of our guys. And also all the great folks at Atlantic Aviation.
Franklin started things off last inning with a leadoff walk. Turned into 2 runs.
There's a strike. That's trouble.
That's actually a break as it bounces out of the yard. And it goes as a 2-base hit. Because if that one rattles around, Souza's going to score easily. As it turned out, Franklin, who came in hitting 102, has not been retired in 2 at-bats. This time, Johnny gets a rolling breaking ball, and it's up in Franklin's eyes. Then bouncing out with that low wall. And so 2 men in scoring position, but nobody's crossed the plate yet.
Took a single to center last inning, and he came around to score.
Had him well out in front of that one, and with the infield drawn in, Johnny Danks is thinking about a ground ball. He'd love a strikeout, but at the very least, he wants to make sure he keeps the ball on the ground.
We see how close our middle guys are, Alexei and Carlos. They want to get it off the grass. They don't want to get it off that dirt. Even though they could be back a few steps more.
Sox bullpen up and going for the first time tonight. Can't let Tampa Bay get too far ahead because their bullpen is very good.
Oh yeah, he gone. Change up.
This a big strikeout, lets the infield move back. A good changeup down. Took well out in front of it. Not like last time, no contact as Daniel Webb starts to throw.
Off speed out in front. Rivera had a nice sacrifice bunt. Perfect sacrifice bunt last inning. Moving Franklin and Matuk the third and the second. He's hitting 159 coming in, but last year hit 252, 11 homers, and drove in 44 with the Padres. That one foul.
Rivera's been around for a while. In fact, he started his professional career in 2001. Finally surfacing with Seattle in 2004 in the big leagues. Was there in parts of 5 and 6. Before moving over to Minnesota, where he got to the big leagues in 2011. Before getting to San Diego for about a year and a half. What Kevin Cash said about him is, we're ecstatic to have a guy this good defensively to work with what we consider to be one of the better staffs around. That is assuming he gets that staff back off the disabled list.
He gone, so he pitches out of it. First and third, one out. He had a couple of strikeouts, but we still trail it 2-0. Here in the top of the fifth inning, we have hit some rockets. Adam, we do have 4 hits, but have come up empty. Here's Tyler. He grounded out Elmore first, who made a Houdini type catch.
Unfortunately, all 4 hits came with 2 outs. Be nice to get a few guys on at the top.
One and one to count. One and two.
Outfield straight away, and once again, Matuk is way deep in center field.
That's outside.
So obviously he feels he can come in a lot better than he can go back. But it's not going to get over his head without going out of the ballpark. Bring your family to the ballpark for Family Sundays, presented by the University of Chicago Medicine Comer Children's Hospital. Tickets start as low as $5. Parking is just $10. White Sox and Comer Children's Hospital teaming up for your kids' health. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/Sundays or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
So here's Carlos Sanchez, 0 for 1, hit a line shot bullet. 2. Matuk in center field.
Sox fan with a souvenir and a very small glove.
Well, I took a lot of grief today wearing my Blackhawks hat around.
I assume you would, down
Oh,
here.
yeah. I mean, these 3 guys at my lunch place they walked in, looked at me, and they said, Blackhawks are going down. And I said, well, you're doing the easy part now. You're doing the talking. Then I left, and there was this guy sitting there with his wife outside on the sidewalk. As I was walking by, he goes, boo, boo.
You got a standing boo. That was good.
Yeah.
Going to be a wonderful Game 5.
And there is ball 4. That's the first walk issued by Andres. And that'll bring up Adam Eaton. Come on, let's get something going here. This guy, we got to get this guy.
Well, Mark Parent has used the hit and run successfully once. Probably not a bad time for it here.
And that's outside.
I don't think they're expecting a long performance out of Andres tonight. That means that this bullpen, which has been used a lot, will be back in again in the not too distant future.
Well, from what I heard, if they keep using this bullpen the way they have, then these guys aren't going to be able to brush their teeth.
No, they've
Come
got
July and August.
They've got 25 appearances out of Boxberger, but he's the closer. They have 20-plus appearances out of another 4 guys in that pen.
That pitch is off the plate, so they count 2-0.
Neither pitch was close. And so the plate moving around on Andres, and there's the Honda pitch tracks. And we're both well off the corner.
Gap out there in right center.
Adam most likely knows at this point he's going to get a fastball.
And a strike. Question of if, it was just a question of where. We'll get the outside corner.
Andres probably thinking that if there is one single ideal pitch to use a hit and run, this would be it at 2-1.
There's a bunt. Rene throws it away. Sanchez is being waved around. He's going to score. Adam on his way to third. He'll get there, and it's a 2-1 ball game. It'll be a hit and an error and a run. Yes.
There was absolutely no chance for Jake Elmore at first base, as that one was thrown into foul territory, and Elmore could not get around Eaton. Good bunt. No chance at all for Elmore. That brings Hickey out from the dugout. So with the tying run 90 feet away, only one out in the inning, Jim Hickey comes out to have a word with his young right-hander.
You got to give Jim Hickey just a ton of credit.
He's done a great job here for a number of years.
A ton of credit.
He's one of the carryovers from the last administration, along with Derek Shelton, the hitting coach. Tom Foley, another one of the holdovers.
So with one out, tying run at third. Here's Alexei. He had a line shot right to Souza in right field, who made a nice catch.
Infield in at all four positions.
Then Souza on Abreu, the next hitter, made an outstanding catch on him.
Souza has a big arm in right field, but he's not overly accurate with it.
That'll get the job done. And we got ourselves a 2-2 tie. RBI number 23 for Alexei.
Number 79, Jose Abreu.
All started with a one-out walk to Carlos Sanchez.
Alexei with his fifth sacrifice fly, and that far and away leads the ball club in that department. So he's looking for something he could hit to the outfield, and he got it.
Well, throughout the course of our travails, the first month and a half especially, Alexei was one guy with a man on third and less than two out that I felt very comfortable to play with.
Did a nice job there with the infield drawn in, knowing that couldn't afford a ground ball.
Abreu is 1 for 2, had a single in the first, and that line shot that Souza took right in front of the wall. Got him, but some damage is done. We're halfway home, tied at 2. All right, our Chuck, thank you very much. As first pitch strike to Brandon Guy. Geyer popped up to right and singled in a run. That was back in the third inning. A 2-2 tie.
And Johnny Dang's pitching his way out of a second and third and one out situation with strikeouts to Matuk and Rivera. Certainly paid dividends, keeping it at 2-0 at the time, only to see his offense come back, tie it up, courtesy of an error and one unearned run.
And that is foul. And we'll have a moment. We'll send a big White Sox hello and thank you to a terrific. We've got our Scott Ryford, who is the Senior Vice President of Communications, who does such a great job for us. And Tampa Bay has their Rick Vaughn. And you know, when you travel around like we do, you go into some ballparks that's into center field. And most of them are very, very cordial, very nice. And then you got some that, well, they're not so cordial and nice. And then you got some that are just outstanding. And, of course, Rick Vaughn and Tampa Bay Rays have always been just a terrific place to come. Here's Butler. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI. And we stay at a beautiful old hotel, the Vinoy. It's one of everybody's favorites, even with the ghost floor.
Yeah, you can deal with a ghost every now and then.
That was so funny. As he goes through that one, they put me right across the hall from it, and I actually stayed up till about 1:30 in the morning listening to see if I could hear any noise.
Did the ghost say anything?
No, not a word. But then they put Ozzie on that same floor, and Ozzie wouldn't stay there. he said, "No way." That's back through the middle. Oh, look at Sanchez. That'll be a base hit, but good effort.
Yeah, with the speed of Butler, even if he catches a ball, he's going to his right, away from the play. It would have been very difficult to make it. Carlos has played just a great second base. And this is right over the mound. He'd still have to take 3 or 4 steps before he got rid of the ball, and Butler's got good speed, so he's aboard for Evan Longoria, who had a tough at bat last time.
Yeah, he had a man at third and first, 1 out, and popped up. He is over 2. He fouled out to Gillespie.
Well, he was awfully unhappy with himself, not after the first at bat, but certainly after that second one.
And there's a base hit. Slowly hit, giving Butler plenty of time to get into third. So 1 out, runners at the corners.
Let's look at the last at bat. Evan Longoria is a terrific hitter, but the reason why he was unhappy with himself is he swung at a changeup away. Now he's thinking about, at the very least, a fly ball. John misses with a fastball, then comes back with a changeup low and away, and Longoria hits it off the end of the bat. Very frustrated, and he didn't drive home the run. In fact, even though they scored 2, they had a chance to score more and didn't. They came away after that empty.
Well, everything was set up with the conversation about how they've been going around him and not pitching to him, which you're crazy if you do. And that being the case, it's his fault because he expanded his strike zone. You got to take your walks. The great Ted Williams said that's one of the most important things about being a good hitter and becoming a good hitter and staying a good hitter is taking your walks. We saw Miguel Cabrera in the games we played against them. He's got a bigger strike zone now than he's had because of Victor not hitting behind him.
Yeah, with Victor out for as ever long as he is out, although the big man can still hit, even with Cespedes behind him, he can't possibly see as many pitches now as he did before.
guy in that Tiger uniform that can protect him is Victor Martinez.
And Victor was having so many knee problems, he was actually able to really hit the ball from the right side. But getting many more at bats as a left-hand hitter, it was really plaguing him, and he was hitting in the low 100s, even though he was killing the ball right-handed.
One out, 1-2 the count.
Longoria out of Long Beach State, same place that Troy Tulowitzki was from, and Colorado had a chance to draft him, and they passed on him. Imagine that left side of the infield.
That's going to get the job done, and they're going to take a 3-2 lead. He gets it back in.
RBI number 27 for Forsythe. And just as the Sox were able to deliver the sacrifice fly, so are the Rays. That's just the second sacrifice fly for Forsythe.
Souza. 1 for 2. That's a souvenir right side. One to count.
Longoria doesn't run very much these days. He's 1 for 2 in stolen bases.
He almost walked right into that one.
Now he throws one up and in. Spins back toward the catcher, which is what you should do, but he leans forward even a little bit more, and that one just missed him.
That's trouble. No. What a play by Adam Eaton. He stayed with it, made a commitment, and caught it. Yes. But they come up with one, and we'll go to the 6th, trailing 3-2.
right with a sinking line drive off the bat of Steven Souza. He hits the daylight out of this. And Adam right there to make the play. So he takes it right off the turf. It ends the inning. And a fine job by Adam Eaton.
That was quite a catch by our center fielder. A beauty.
Their bullpen up and going. They've got 4 left-handers in that pen, and they don't hesitate to use them.
First pitch strike to Adam. Adam 0 for 2. Last time up, grounded out to first. I don't know if you saw it, but there was a terrific article in USA Today by Bob Nightingale on Chris Sale.
I did see it, and it was outstanding, and justifiably so.
Oh, sure, but Bob is a terrific baseball writer, and he got the secret to doing a story like that is the interview with Chris, as he did, is getting Chris to say stuff, and he got him to say some stuff that was just very interesting. As he gets him, good strike.
Well, Adam just got outguessed because that ball had the whole plate.
Number 26.
And for the second time, he goes down on strikes. You see Rivera wants it there, and Andres threads the needle. But I love some of the comments he got from other folks who participated in that article about
Well,
Chris
that was
Sale.
part of it being a great article, is what he got from Chris, to me, first of all, and then the other guys. Evan Gattis. And several others, including Randy Johnson. And Avi can't get it.
They really are so similar. Maybe the difference is the 4 inches taller that Randy Johnson is. But Randy Johnson said something that was really interesting. He said that Chris at his age is much farther along than he was.
Well, I agree with him.
And I remember Randy Johnson.
I saw him from the start.
He couldn't get the ball over the plate. And he wended his way from Seattle. He was in Montreal and still couldn't get the ball over the plate. Then he got to Houston, where he went 10-1 in half a year as Houston was trying to win it. They pretty much mortgaged their future at the time. They gave up Carlos Guillen, John Halama, and one more, pretty good one.
That was a pretty good trade, turned out to be.
Freddie Garcia was that pretty good one that went along in that deal. So Houston gave up a bunch thinking they could win it with Randy. It wasn't Randy's fault. He was absolutely brilliant, but didn't get it done.
1-2 pitch. Yes, he did. 2 down. Yeah, if you missed that article, maybe you ought to try to pull it up on the internet or else go get a copy. As here's Melky's 1 for 2. Hit a bullet to the shortstop for an out. He hit a little chopper, a little hit and run for a base hit.
I would think if he doesn't get Melky, I don't think he's going to face Gillespie. But we shall see what's on the mind of Kevin Cash. I know he's gotten what he feels is good performance out of Andres, especially because he's supposed to be pitching in Durham in AAA tonight.
Well, if you'd ask him if you'd have the lead after 5 with Andres, would he take it? Yeah.
Cedeno loosening up in the pen.
Three and 1 with 2 down. There's a shot base hit. So Melky comes up with his second knock. Jeff and Jessica Shearer's picked a click.
Well, Melky figuring that he was going to get a fastball 3-1, and that's going to be it. So as we speculated, you don't get Melky, and you've got Gillespie coming up. You're probably not going to be facing him.
Well, that's the MO that he's been using. We heard about all season long. Starters go 5. Gets him out of there if there's anything trouble. Brings in the bullpen. So he'll come on, and we'll be back.
Daniel. He's on for the 22nd time as a member of these Rays. 26th overall. He was in the National League. He's been brilliant. A situational left-hander. His ERA 150. Problem with Xavier. He's only had one, and that is when he gets a 2-strike count. He has a problem putting hitters away. We'll see if that plays into action here tonight. And the Rays continue their pensmanship. It's Gomes loosening up. So Gordon Beckham comes on to pinch hit. His first AB. Gillespie's taken down. He was 1 for 2.
First and third in Gordon. First pitch strike right on the outside edge of the outside corner.
Cedeno has thrown his curveball just under 50% of the time over the last month. So he likes his curveball. He uses it a lot, as that is a high percentage. And both of those right on the outside corner. Both very much pitcher's pitches. That one looks like a backdoor slider as he paints the black on the outside.
Outfielder deep. Took place in very deep center field. There was a good pitch right there. Cedeno just off the outside corner, but Gordon's got to protect.
The league average with 2 strikes is 158. Hitters have hit 286 against Cedeno. So this is the one area that gives him some problems.
Two out, 1-2 the count with Melky at first.
Tyler Flowers up next. Brandon Gomes throws in a pen, and he should be about ready to go.
Oh, he got a nice Cantini hop right there. Throws him out, and that'll do it. After 5.5, it is 3-2 Rays.
And it's moving by Mickey Mantle into 16th place all time behind Mike Schmidt, Manny Ramirez, and Reggie Jackson. Albert Pujols with 537 home runs. He's eclipsed Jimmy Fox and Mickey Mantle this year. And he is our T-Mobile game changer.
Jimmy Fox, double X.
Gordon Beckham, who came out a pinch hit, stays in the game defensively at third.
Here's Elmore. Jake is going out to left and going out to center. That's out of play. Jimmy Fox was a very short guy and had shoulders almost as wide as he was tall. Had a chance to have a beer with him. Came out, followed me around one time on the golf course after I retired. Great to talk baseball with. There's a strike. Old double X. That's going in. If you're just tuning in, they scored 2 in the third. We scored 2 in the fifth. They scored 1 in the fifth. No home runs in the game. Big play in this ball game was a throwing error by Rene Rivera. Set up our 2. And that's a souvenir right side.
Good job of staying alive by Elmore as that pitch was low and off the plate. He was able to spoil it. Take a look at the Honda pitch tracks where it shows up. Not a strike, but too close to take.
Outfield slightly to the right. That's Yankee.
One of the guys they were depending on was Drew Smiley, who they got the deal with Detroit. David Price going to Detroit. Smiley has a torn labrum.
And Felix Hernandez was pulled after third of an inning against the Houston Astros. He gave up 8 earned runs. He only gave up 8 earned runs over the entire month of May. The Sox being the victors in that sweep over the Astros must upset them a little bit. Back through the middle. Can't get him. Good effort.
Carlos with a long way to go on the third base side of second. Made it very close at first. Able to get the throw off. But Dale Scott said not quite in time. Good effort by Abreu on the stretch. And here comes Don Cooper. He wants to talk with Johnny Danks. Sanchez made it much closer than it should have been. But Elmore doing what he should do, stepping on the front part of the bag to get there as quickly as he possibly can. And now Don goes out there to kill some time for the bullpen to loosen up. Looks like Daniel Webb, who had thrown once before tonight. So he should be ready to go as Don will walk back out.
Franklin has walked, scored, and he also doubled. Trying to take that ball to the right side. Switch hitting infielder. He was with Seattle, looked like he was going to be an absolute world beater. So far, it hadn't worked out. Close pitch, didn't get it.
Our Honda pitch tracks will show you that this one just barely missed off the corner.
Checking some other scores for you. Top of the 7th in Detroit. Tigers leading Cleveland 3-0. David Price on the bump. St. Louis leading Kansas City 2-0. That's in the bottom of the 3rd. In St. Louis. There's the strike. Minnesota leading Texas 1-0. Top of the 4th down at Arlington. Baltimore 6, Yankees 3. Top of the 6th at Oriole Park. Cincinnati beat the Cubs 5-4 in 10 innings. It's a good pitch, yet just try to fight it off. Aroldis Chapman picked up his 13th save in that game. Cubs were leading 4-1. Count hangs at 1-2. And he yanks that one foul.
Franklin doing a good job of staying alive.
Check that. Cincinnati was leading 4-2. Cubs tied it up, and then Cincinnati won it in the 10th. Beckham. Safe at first. Low throw. Good effort.
Gordon did the best he could do, and it looked like he got him.
I didn't know if Abreu could hold the ball.
He didn't hold the ball, and
that's what caused it.
Unfortunately, the throw beat him.
He was out had he held the ball.
Number 27, Mikey Matuk.
So here's Mikey Matuk.
That's going to be charge E3.
So 2 on, nobody out. Matuk squaring around.
He does not have a sacrifice this year. Of course, then again, it's only been 20 at bats.
Takes ball 1 up high.
Now Zach Duke has joined Daniel Webb. Webb, who could not be any readier.
That spin's going to make it a good bunt and a good shift right there by Sanchez. So the sacrifice 1-4.
They've been called on twice to lay down a sacrifice bunt in similar situations, and they've been successful both times. So good execution on the part of Tampa.
And here comes Mark Parent. So he's going to the pen. Daniel Webb is ready. Ducks on the pond, 1 down. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, we trail at 3-2. And we'll be back.
The 2005 World Series by signing up for the Championship Giving Campaign. Fans can support the campaign by making a donation at special levels honoring the 2005 season. Donors will receive commemorative gifts for their donation. For more information, visit whitesox.com/championshipgiving. Our Honda call to the pen. is Daniel Webb. Daniel's been throwing the ball pretty well lately. On for the 5th time. He's given up nothing. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts in 6 2/3. And if you're wondering why they might not be pinch hitting for Rivera, they've only got 1 catcher. And he's the one.
They designated Bobby Wilson for assignment. And in case something were to happen to Rivera, it'd be Jake Elmore moving in behind the dish until they get somebody else.
He probably wouldn't be the happiest man around if that happened, but that's their emergency guy.
Infield in. And the count evens at 1. Elmore 3rd. Franklin the 2nd. Got to play at the plate. Bad throw. Don't get it.
And I think Tyler Flowers wants him to take a look at that, because I think he felt that they did get him at the plate. Gabe Morales says no. Mark Parent is going to have Vance Law take a look at it. Elmore doesn't have the greatest speed around, and it's a pretty decent throw. Just on the other side of the bag.
That's a bad throw on that place.
No, he didn't get him. Well, it's up the first base side, unfortunately, where there are a few outs. And the hand, it appears, got in before the tag.
When he's got to reach to his right, that's a bad throw. Dadgummit. So it's a 4-2 game.
See the hand right there before the tag. And a replay review. So Kevin Cash decides to use the contact play, meaning even with the infield in, anything that's hit, the runner goes. The bad break there was the fact that Rivera shattered his bat, and that took a whole lot off that ground ball. Normal ground ball, it probably has plenty of time. The cracked bat made it a bang-bang play. Watch the left hand. And he is indeed in there. So it goes as a run batted in for Rivera, his 11th.
Your attention, please. Pitch hitting for Geyer, number 39, Kevin Kiermaier.
So here's Kiermaier hitting for Geyer. Four-2 game. Runners at the corners, 1 out.
Kiermaier 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter.
That was a terrific pitch by Webb on Rivera. To an 0 the count. Watch out. It's 5-2.
Kiermaier comes on and drives in his 14th run. And he's been a pretty good player for these Rays. That will go as an unearned run, but a very damaging run nonetheless, making it a 3-run lead as Kiermaier takes it right back up the middle.
So here's Butler. He's 2 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI. Ball gets away, both runners advance.
And we'll have to check and see if that's a pass ball or a wild pitch. And it is a pass ball. That takes a double play out of the equation.
Up and in. 1-1 to count. 5-9-0. 1 for them. 5-6 and a big 1 for us. Let's say 2-6 and 1. Big 1. Two and two the count. That ball hit right into center field. It's going to fall for a base hit. And it's 6-2. Third hit for Butler.
RBI number 15 on his third single. And so the hit parade continues. That was a slider up in the zone. When talking with Kevin Cash, he said that he knew that Butler could hit. One of the reasons why he's here. And he's shown us that tonight.
So here's Longoria. He shoved a single to the right side last time up. He's 1 for 3.
Junior Guerra, recently brought to the big leagues, getting ready in the pen.
30-year-old rookie. Oh, 1-2 the count to Longoria. First of a 3-game set, first of a 5-game road trip if you're just joining us. We have these 3 here, then Monday and Tuesday in Pittsburgh. And we'll be coming back home to face Pittsburgh. And 2-game set, and Texas in 3 for a brief 5-game homestand. But the second game here tomorrow, Jeff Samardzija, as he gets him. 2 down.
That's a good sinker. Drops out of the zone. Jeff Samardzija against Chris Archer, their ace.
And then on Sunday in the finale, Chris Sale against Nate Carnes. The game tomorrow night will be right here over Comcast Sportsnet. On Sunday it'll be over WGN. Forsythe 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. St. Louis still leading Kansas City 2-0 that game in the bottom of the 4th in St. Louis. Bottom of the 8th in Detroit, still 3-0. Tigers over Cleveland. In case you're just tuning in, did not hear, Robin Ventura will miss this 3-game set. Graduation of his daughter Madison, graduating from college. But we got our own troubles right here. 3-0 with 3 runs in here in the bottom of the 6th inning. There's one. We have been in a syndrome this season, especially in the first month and a half. Every time we made an error, it really jumped up and bit us right in the behind. There's a strike and a full count. Other times throughout the course of the season, pitchers will pitch over. We have not been able to do that. Payoff. That's hit hard but foul.
That one just missed Kiermaier at third. And just missed going fair.
Once again, the 3-2. He gone. But a crooked number goes up on that board. We'll go to the 7th, trailing 6-2. Troy Murray, radio voices of the Blackhawks, in attendance tonight. Boy, what a series they're having. Tied at 2. Wow. Go Hawks. We got to do some business here, fellas. We trail it 6-2, top of the 7th inning. Flowers has grounded to first and struck out.
Cedeno, who came in the game for a third of an inning, getting Andres out of that inning, is still in the game.
First pitch strike.
Cedeno's best pitch and his favorite pitch by far. Along with that curveball, he also has a good slider that he usually throws back door on the outside corner to the right-handers.
Pretty good breaking ball, just got a piece of it to stay alive.
Kevin Kiermaier, who can really go get him in center field, came on and got a pinch hit. And Mikey Matuk slides over to left field as Brandon Geyer was taken out of the game.
Two balls, two strikes. There's a shot. Good way to start it, Tyler.
You want to know where to find bacon on a stick when you're at U.S. Cellular Field? You want to track the red line trains after attending the game? Interested in a seat upgrade? Download MLB.com Ballpark, the official U.S. Cellular Field Ballpark app for iPhone and Android smartphones. Visit WhiteSox.com/ballpark app to learn more.
Carlos takes it high and wide. Charles is 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. His out was a bullet right to Matuk in center field back in the third inning. And the count 2-0. Now Rivera's had enough of that. With a 6-2 lead.
Surprisingly, the outfield very deep all the way around.
They're playing everybody though. For the most part, straight up, spread out, and deep. Manager's preference. Or it wouldn't be that way. Adam Eaton. He was 1 for 3, a bunt single back in the 5th, and we scored 2 runs.
Elmore was able to knock it down, stay in front of it, and then cut down the lead runner.
Managers have different ideas, philosophies on positioning. I know when Joe Madden was here, it seemed like these guys were in perfect position almost every hitter we had. There's a strike. Moving just a couple of steps over to his right for Adam Eaton. So there's a little bit of a gap out there in right center.
Barring a double play, you would think that this would be Cedeno's last hitter. Joe McEwing going through his set of signs.
There's a little looper, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So a little duck snort by Eaton.
And that's going to be it for Cedeno. So Adam cracks his bat. Good plate coverage. Winds up dumping it into left field. And Cedeno will depart. And as he walks out, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Brandon Gomes, who's had a pretty good run at it lately. On for the 21st time, he's 1-2. His ERA in the low 2s at 2.14. 18 strikeouts, 3 walks over 21 innings. He's not walked anybody in over a month. And he's fanned close to 50% of the batters he's faced. So he's got pretty good stuff and very good control. But Alexei has hit the ball well, and he's got a run batted in to show for it, although he's 0 for 2.
Let's do something big right here in this inning. Takes it up. And takes that slider outside. Chance on that one. Took a little something off that slider. Hitters just don't like to face guys who will change speeds on their breaking stuff. Those too many variables into play. That's foul. Dugout, and it's going to be a souvenir. Changing speeds on the fastball is bad enough, but when they start doing it on the sliders and curveballs, oops, you got a problem.
A lot of Hawk fans have made the trip, taking in a baseball game, most likely before they take in a hockey game.
Saw a ton of Hawks jerseys and hats this afternoon, walking around a little bit.
Changed that arm angle, but sailed that fastball way up over his head.
We need you, buddy. Got to keep this thing going. Let's put some points on the board. Ball gets away, so both runners will advance on the wild pitch.
Rivera couldn't locate it. This ball is pretty much right there by his feet. A good heads-up base running, knowing that Rivera was looking up, wondering where the ball went. Didn't go very far. And a base hit here, going to score a pair.
Brady on deck. And wide open. Now goes to the set. A roller. And he yanks it foul.
Toyota pitch tracks. He keeps this ball way inside. Fortunately for him, it didn't drift over the inside part of the plate. And another one that he left over the inside portion of the plate. Those pitches inside were hanging sliders that he was fortunate to get away with.
It's like a cement mixer coming up there. A spiral. To the shortstop. So Sanchez scores, and it's a 6-3 ball game.
Lexi has driven in his second run of the night without the benefit of a base hit. Sacrifice fly and now a ground ball in the infield, giving him 24 for the year and cutting the lead to 3.
So here is Jose. He's 1 for 3. Look at the pitch from this guy. And he takes the strike. Very quickly, the count 0-2.
First one was just a spinner on the first pitch, figuring perhaps that Abreu was not going to swing at it because it had spin on it. Second one broke a little bit more. That was a pretty good slider.
Checks it up, fouls it back. Detroit has shut out Cleveland 4-0. David Price 6-2 over Danny Salazar, who's 6-2.
David Price continues to get better and better. And this is walk year. And he is going to get a bundle.
Straight up in center and deep. That ball's hit hard, and he's not going to catch that one. You can put it on the board, yes, and we are right back in this waggle. Mercy.
That's his 12th of the year. He's now driven in 39. That's his third in as many games. And Jose, who's been hitting the ball very hard to right field, took this one right down the line. Our Ford home run replay. It's a high fastball. And right off the screen, just inside the pole.
Don't stop now, boys, as here is LaRoche. He's due. He's 0 for 3. With that home run, another donation by Alex Nellius. White Sox Charities in loving memory of Ursula. That back and very quickly. 1-2 the count.
The Sox match the Rays 3 spot. They put up 3 in the bottom of the 6th and a counter 3 here in the top of the 7th.
Changeup got him. 7th inning stretch. We're right back in it.
Junior Guerra comes into the game. His contract was purchased from Charlotte on the 7th of June. He has no major league experience. This is his debut.
And the first pitch he throws to Steven Souza. It's foul back.
Guerra was in the Atlanta system in 2006 and with the Mets organization in 2008.
0-2 the count.
Sox bullpen up and going.
Gave him a lot of motion right there and then took a little something off that slider.
As this has become a one-run game. Rays bullpen also up and going.
That's inside. 1-2.
Jake throwing in the pen for the Sox.
A little soft pop-up. And it's bobbling. Wow.
Well, unfortunately, another play should have been made that wasn't. Could have been made by either Sanchez or Ramirez.
Wow.
And Ramirez just dropped it. Someone's got to say something to take over, and normally it's a shortstop who tries to take over. But
looked like Carlos was calling for it.
Yep, no play.
That figures. Belmore 2 for 4 now.
This line drive to right field. They called that first play a base hit, which is somewhat surprising.
Shortstop, number 2, Dick Franklin.
So Gordon coming out, and they're talking about what they're going to do in the event of a bunt.
And it's the switch hitting shortstop, Nick Franklin, who has walked, doubled, and reached on an arrow. Gordon in on the grass. And the ball gets by Tyler.
Looks like it's going to be a pass ball. I think that's going to be the second of the night. This has not been an artistic effort by the boys.
This has been a very, very poorly played defensive game. And usually when that happens, you lose.
They scored it as a wild pitch, and this one has to be caught.
Infield in. And that's going to score 1. And it's 7-5.
Well, Franklin, who came in hitting 102. 2 hits, a walk, and reach base on an error. He turned it off for the first time. A hit from the left side, takes it right back up the middle. And it's a 2-run Tampa Bay lead.
First rule in baseball, you got to catch the ball. If you can't catch it, I don't care how good your pitching is or how good your hitting is, you're going to lose. You give him 30, 31 outs and you're getting 27, you're probably going to get beat. Do the math.
David DeJesus who is as good a pure hitter as they have on this team. Comes on a pinch hit.
Publicly, David DeJesus has just been a very ordinary player. But to all the managers he's had and the teams he's played on, he's been a very good player.
He's hitting .303 this year, 2 for 9 with 4 driven in as a pinch hitter.
Runners into corners, nobody out, 1 in.
Here, look at some pretty impressive numbers. .355 on base percentage, 5 homers and 20 driven in.
Almost threw it away. Good job by Beckham. Now he's going to make the right play, go there, and they're going to get him. Heads up play by Gordon Beckham. For the double play. Yes.
This one right back at Guerra, and he takes a look at third. Gordon gets him running, makes the tag, and then a heads-up play gets him at third base. A call by C.B. Buckner. Good effort by Gordon.
So here's Rene Rivera. He is 0 for 3 with an RBI. That was a heck of a snap right there by Guerra. That ball was hit hard by DeJesus. Out.
Able to make the play. It was hit to his glove side. Then he goes to Gordon, who puts the tag on him and wisely catches Franklin on the back end. A big double play.
We can wiggle out of this inning the way we have played it with just 1 run.
In good shape. Real good shape.
To the count with DeJesus at first. That was a heck of a catch by Beckham on that throw by Guerra.
That one almost went into left field.
Just to get a piece of it. Seven, 13-1 for them, 5-9-1 for us. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning. But they come up with a gift run, which could be a biggie. They lead it by 2.
And here's our Miller moment. Jose Abreu, for the third time in as many games, hit one out of the ballpark. This one hitting the netting right next to the pole. And it got the Sox to within 1 run. So we've got a new pitcher coming in the game. It's Steven Geltz. On for the 27th time. He's 1-2. His ERA .284, 29 strikeouts and 25 1/3. But 12 walks is a high total. And as you can see, opponents haven't had much success against him. He is, however, 2 for 2 in save situations, this not being one of them at the moment. And David DeJesus comes in the game and stays in the game after his pinch hitting role defensively in left field.
It'll be Avi, Cabrera, and Beckham. Outfield, they're deep, straight up, and a good rip just underneath. Avi is 1 for 3. A solid single back in the 4th inning.
Geltz got into professional baseball with the Angels, signed as an undrafted free agent in 2008.
Come on, Avi. Have a good night on your birthday. 24 years old. High pop up. Souza.
You can fill out your 2015 Assurance MLB All-Star ballot now at WhiteSox.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote up to 35 times at WhiteSox.com. Send your favorite Sox to the All-Star game. You at home get a decision.
So here's Melky. He's 2 for 3. Takes ball 1. Now, Avi is sitting in a perfect spot as far as being on a team with a guy like Abreu.
Being just 24 and starting to figure out how to get it done.
Well, all he's got to do is look.
Yep.
All he's got to do is look, and he is very observant. He's a smart kid, and he is going to be one heck of a player.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons he came out this year before he hurt his knee and was going to center and right center so often, because that's what Abreu does to keep his batting average up.
Ooh, that's close. Very close. Yeah, if you can't learn watching an outstanding hitter in your club, shame on you. He will learn from that. Three and 1 to count to Melky.
Gordon in the on-deck circle. He came out a pinch hit for Connor Gillespie.
That's a high pop-up. Forsythe. 2 down.
Third baseman, Gordon Beckham.
Here's Beckham. He's been to the plate 1 time, hit the ball to the shortstop. That's inside for a 2-0 count. Jeff Samardzija against Chris Archer tomorrow night. And that game will be right here on Comcast Sportsnet. I should say tomorrow late afternoon. And that's popped up. Get out. Good walk. And that's the 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, trailing by 2.
To 5 game. Tampa has out hit the Sox 13-9. Each team has made an error. Some have been charged, some haven't. And Guerra's still in the game.
That's an understatement. So here is Kevin Kiermaier. He's been to the plate one time, has an RBI single.
Taking a look down in the bullpen. Looks like Jake McGee, who was hurt part of this season, but is their hard-throwing closer.
Oh, 1-2 the count. First time we have seen Guerra, and he's not afraid to come right at you.
You know, 30-year-old rookies have been around for a while, and they don't know how many chances they're going to get, so they want to make the most of it.
Well, I had the pleasure of playing with and hitting against a guy who won Rookie of the Year at 29 years old. And there's a base hit. Kiermaier's is going to make a hard turn. Throw the leadoff man aboard.
I really like to see that. I like to see a guy taking an aggressive turn, seeing exactly what, in this case, Garcia is going to do with the baseball. But Kiermaier thinking about 2 until he's stopped, and when he sees Avi come up with it on a bounce, he's got to hustle back.
Well, the only thing you got to watch out on something like that are your ankles.
You can speak by experience there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. First pitch strike. Butler 3 for 4, 2 RBIs and a run scored. Decent lead by Kevin. And the count 0-2 on Butler.
Kiermaier, pretty good base stealer. He swiped 4, been caught 1 time.
Infield, outfield for the most part straight up. Bit of a gap out there in right center. First time we've seen Butler. He makes a nice approach to the pitch. Looks like he's not trying to do too much.
He may not have gotten here had he not played with Kevin Cash, and that was back in 2011.
There he goes. They'll strike him out. And he's safe.
Stolen base number 5 for Kiermaier. Got a good jump. And they can't complete the strike him out, throw him out. Carlos is just hoping that maybe going in as hard as he did, his foot would come off the bag, but no such luck. And no chances taken with Longoria here.
No, sir.
That's just his 4th intentional walk. You would think if Loney doesn't get back soon, there'll be a few more in his future.
Well, the Tigers tonight shut out Cleveland 4-0. And Miguel Cabrera 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs. 3-run homer.
You gotta pitch to him sometime, but unfortunately, when you do, he makes you pay the price.
Knowing Terry Francona, if he didn't have to pitch to him, he wouldn't have pitched to him. You can bet on that. You don't have 10 consecutive winning seasons if you can't manage.
No, that's true. In fact, Kevin Cash was the bullpen coach for Terry Francona and just sung his praises. Said he was absolutely wonderful to work with. He said he gave him more responsibilities than the normal bullpen coach, and he feels that Terry helped pave the way for his managerial interviews and his eventual job.
Well, that's what good managers do. Good managers don't want to manage. Good managers want to delegate authority. Let the coaches, they pick them, so you know you got to have confidence in them. So let them do their job.
And
when they have to manage, they're in trouble.
Well, they also view as a feather in their cap when their guys go on to get major league jobs.
Well, Earl Weaver was probably one of the best we'll ever see at that. Former Hall of Fame manager for Baltimore Orioles. He didn't hire anybody as a coach unless he thought they had managerial skills. The skill set they had to have were future manager, and he had a lot of them that did that.
And look at Mike Scioscia.
Mike's the same way. Mike's, you know, he wants the best people around him. You get a lot of managers don't want those kind of people around them because they're scared of their job.
Yeah, but those are the insecure guys. But Bud Black, Ron Renicky, Joe Madden, all went on to become major league managers. All worked under Mike Scioscia with the Angels. Scioscia continues to do a great job, and those guys have gone on to success in the major league.
Well, every organization has done it. We've had a couple here that micromanaged everything. They wanted to every pitch. They wanted to do this. The coaches didn't have that much authority, didn't have that much responsibility, and for the most part, they were short-lived. As that's in the right field, Avi, he's going to get there. He'll get it back in as Kiermaier tags and goes. Yeah, those guys don't last very long.
Right fielder, number 20, Steven Souza Jr.
So here's Souza. He's 2 for 4. He's got a gift base hit leading off last inning. I mean, it was a solid gift by the scorekeeper.
There has been a few of those this evening.
Yep. Two out runners at the corners. Hung up. Give it to him. There you go. Now give it to him and grab some bench. And that'll do it. Win of the 9th. We got some work to do.
Mets Stanley Cup final coverage in Chicago, starting with Blackhawks pregame live on CSN Plus. Then flip over to CSN after the game for locker room reaction, highlights, and more on Blackhawks postgame live. Stanley Cup final game 5 coverage starts tomorrow at 6:30 on CSN Plus. So Jake McGee comes into the game. He's going to try to nail it down. It's been an injury-plagued season for him. He's a big left-hander and a good one. Looking for his second save. There you look at the numbers on for the 11th time. No walks, 14 strikeouts in 9 innings, and 1 for 2 in save situations.
Kyle Flowers fouls the first pitch back. Well, we have seen McGee when literally he was unhittable. And we've seen him also when he had trouble getting anybody out.
It's true.
So you don't know. But we do know one thing. We're going to have some base runners. There you got a cookie and couldn't do anything with it. 0-2. Start us off right here with 2 strikes. First of a 3-game set. Make your plans to be with us tomorrow afternoon. Jeff Samardzija against Chris Archer in that game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Then on the finale on Sunday, Chris Sale against Nate Carnes. And that game will be over WGN. Then it's off to Pittsburgh for 2. That's out number 1.
Time now for the AT Uverse Multiview, and it was the last play in the last inning. Tyler Flowers does a good job of blocking it. And then, after a relatively short rundown, Garrett does the honors, and they get out of the inning.
Yeah. We've had a couple of good rundown plays lately. Worked correctly. Sanchez lined hard to center field his first at bat. He walked and scored in his second at bat. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored in his third at bat.
McGee last year, 1.89 ERA in 73 appearances. Only was a part-time closer, saved 19. But he was close to unhittable. 48 hits in 71 in the third inning.
That tells a story there.
Boy, he's got some stuff.
That one outing he made against us. I mean, it was really, from a baseball standpoint, awesome to see. But from our standpoint, not very good.
Well, 90 strikeouts and 16 walks in 71 in the third inning.
Just got a piece of it. Stay with him. Stay. Get it down. This has been one of the best ball and strike call games we have seen all year long. We've seen some good ones this year, too. Gabe Morales.
He's been pretty much right on top of everything.
Every pitch. Every pitch.
You haven't seen anybody look back and even question what he's been called.
2 down. That Houston series was well umpired. Terrifically umpired. So here's Adam. He is 2 for 4 with a run scored.
Just trying to keep it alive for the Ramirez Abreu portion of this lineup.
That strike down on the outside corner to knees, and the count 1-1. So we're down to our last bullet, gang. It's 2 out, 1-2 the count.
And McGee is throwing rockets on that outside corner.
Here it comes. And it's sliding into left field, but they got a man there, and this ball game is over. So we did not play well tonight, Steve. We played very bad. As a matter of fact, defensively, we gave them some runs, and we deserved to lose this game.
Yeah, when you score 5 on the road and Jose hit another home run, you expect to come away with a win. That didn't happen, and unfortunately, the 3-game winning streak is by the boards.
All right, so for my partner, Steve Stone, our Hall of Fame director, Jim Angio, our future Hall of Fame producer, Mike Leary, our associate producer, Dave Ross, our technical manager, Mark Harper, and also for Mark Whitner, Jeff Morrell, Alan Sidney, and Erica Thornsberry. Also the executive producer, Jim Corno Jr. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.